Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Football Palestine Extra, the podcast where we break down everything that's happened in this past week of Palestinian football. Speaking to you in the immediate aftermath of the FIFA Arab Cup final, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed. We've got a lot of attention, a lot of new subscribers over the past 3 weeks, thanks to what Al Fidai did. If you like what you see and hear in this episode, consider upgrading to a paid subscription. That way you'd be able to see this episode and other episodes in their entirety. We also do interviews with former and current national team players with a paid subscription, be able to see all of that. And it also helps me do the work to keep the lights on here at Football Palestine. Also, keep in mind that if you don't want to see the video and just want the audio, or just prefer to get your podcasts on Spotify, we're also available on Spotify. So in this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to take a look at the 22 players that were part of the FIFA Arab Cup squad and rate them, kind of see whose stock's up, whose stock is down, and who sort of stayed the same. Before getting into that, a couple of things about the FIFA Arab Cup in general. Palestine, highest average attendance of all the teams, about 55,000. They were definitely the people's champion, had a lot of people come out to support them. Of course, it helped that they played against Qatar, the hosts, in the opening match. It helped that they played against well-supported teams like Tunisia and Saudi Arabia, but in the match against Syria, it was a near sellout. It was only about 100 seats short of a near sellout. So you can get a sense that things are starting to change in Palestinian football. And there was even something akin to an active support section that put out a tifo of a Palestinian flag and a Saudi flag together before the match at Lusail Stadium, the quarterfinal match against Saudi Arabia. So maybe things are developing for Palestinian football. Maybe we can see more of that in 2027. We're only about a year out from the Asian Cup. Keep in mind that will be held in Saudi Arabia, January 2027. Palestine is already qualified. They were part of the first 18 teams to qualify because they advanced to the third round of World Cup qualification. Another tranche of teams are going to come through. Asian Cup standalone qualification. We already know the identity of two of those teams, Syria and Singapore. We're waiting on the other four. We'll know that by March. And then in May, it's expected that there'll be a draw, and we'll get to look forward to another major international tournament. And yeah, I consider the FIFA Arab Cup to be a major international tournament. What I would say is that the organizers have to just do a little bit more. I think they've done a fantastic job bringing the tournament back. Qatar was hosted the last two and will host the next two editions of the Arab Cup, have really studied and learned from their experience hosting the World Cup, hosting the Asian Cup, and things have just gotten better and better and better, and it has the feel of a major international tournament. Now, unfortunately, the results in the FIFA ranking, which will come out later today, are considered to be less than friendlies because they see this tournament as a bunch of friendly matches, and the friendly matches hosted outside the international window. That means Palestine stands to gain more points from beating a random nation in a officially sanctioned friendly within the FIFA window than beating Qatar, let's say, who are about 40 odd spots higher than them in the ranking, or drawing against Tunisia. And that's something that needs to change. This tournament needs to be given the respect that it has earned. And even if Morocco lifted the trophy in a fantastic final against Jordan last night. Yes, that is their second team. But Morocco have developed their football so much that they can basically compete on all fronts. They won the Under-20 World Cup. They were third place at the 2024 Olympics with their Under-23 team. They can form a team from their local league and win the local African championships, which are known as the CHAN. They're favorites to win AFCON, which kicks off on Sunday. They've won the Arab Cup. Yeah, they won with their second team, but it's only because of the strength they have. And if you look at the other teams, the other North African teams in this tournament that were favored, Tunisia came here with a very, very strong squad. 14 of those players are going to AFCON. They fell at the first hurdle. Egypt came with just a random squad. We're not competitive. Comoros, again, came with a squad that didn't really include many of their first team players. Fell at the first hurdle. Algeria did okay. They made it out of what was a weak group, but the UAE knocked them out on penalty kicks. So if you come to this tournament with your second team, don't think that you are going to be able to lift the trophy. Morocco's maybe the one exception now. And even Algeria 4 years ago, the first team players that were playing in the Arab world, they were playing in the local league, they traveled with Algeria. So that was an Algeria team that would have been very similar to the Algeria team that would have participated in the World Cup had they not lost to Cameroon in dramatic circumstances in their final World Cup qualifier for the 2022 edition. So yeah, it would be great to find a way to get the strongest teams. And like I mentioned in the last episode, there's no other Asian team at the Arab Cup that was more disadvantaged than Palestine. We were missing a lot of key players, some because of injury, some because of club commitment. I'd love for it to be held in the summer. I don't know if that's possible. If it's going to be held in December, and if you're going to run into the same problems of, we can't get the likes of Mohamed Salah or Ashraf Hakimi here, then at the very least, give the tournament the weighting of a Nations League match. And this is also something that disadvantages the Asian teams, because if you look at our ranking, our rankings are deflated compared to those in Africa who play a continental championship once every 2 years and are always in a qualifying cycle. And they're even disadvantaged and deflated compared to teams in CONCACAF. And CONCACAF is the second worst footballing region behind Oceania. It's a bunch of islands. And I think if you take any CONCACAF team and put them up against any Asian team, I think the Asian team wins at the elite level, at the mid-tier level, at the lower level. Haiti somehow is ranked higher than Syria and Palestine in the FIFA rankings. I know they're going to the World Cup, but I think Syria and Palestine could beat Haiti. And I also think that their continental championships can barely be considered a major international championship because there's no qualifying, except if you're a small island nation. Then when you go, you might actually have to play against an invitational team. So Saudi Arabia or Qatar didn't have to qualify, they got invited. A bunch of teams fell by the wayside because they failed to qualify. But the bigger teams don't have to qualify. And by the way, the tournament is always hosted in the United States, and it is always drawn in a way that if the US and Mexico win their respective groups, they meet in the final. I even think that even if they finish second, they find a way to have a meet in the final. And by the way, a bunch of CONCACAF nations got to play in Copa America as well. So we don't have a Nations League. I don't know if there will be a Nations League in Asia, but it would be nice to have the proper weighting for this tournament, and the weighting should be, at the very least, that of a qualifier or a Nations League match, if not a continental finals. It is a FIFA-sanctioned tournament at the end of the day. The fact that it has less than the weighting of half of that of a friendly is a joke. Those are my thoughts on the Arab Cup. Happy that we qualified, got past Libya. Happy with our performance. We came up a little bit short. We spoke about that in the last episode, but definitely things to build on. And so, with that aside, I think what we want to do now is basically look at the 22 players that were in the squad and see if their stock is up, or their stock is down, or if they've remained the same. So we'll start with the goalkeepers. We'll start with Palestine's number one, Rami Hamada. Rami Hamada, stock is up. Stock keeps going up. Why he is still without a club is a giant mystery, and I think one of the crimes against football, because the man has 31 clean sheets in 64 official games, 58 goals conceded. If you look at just the official matches, he's contested 41 official matches. That's Arab Cup, Asian Cup qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers. If you put that aside, that's 41 matches for him. 22 clean sheets, 33 goals conceded. So basically his stats are even better if you just toss out the friendlies. I thought he is statistically, according to SofaScore, the 5th